Hi everyone and welcome to Divine Resolution Tarot. This is a twin flame reading. It should resonate whenever you find it. There is no time limit on this, but I know I haven't done one in a while, so I wanted to do one for all of you. So I've shuffled the deck, I've pulled the cards. We have the feminine energy on the left, the masculine on the right, but please understand that energy does not matter as far as like your physical form. If you identify with feminine, but perhaps you present as something else, that is okay as well, right? All right, let's get into it. Left side, we've got our feminine energy saying 9 of Swords, 4 thoughts, which is really interesting because it's almost being mirrored by the masculine who's in the 8 of Swords at this time. It's very possible that you're not speaking to this person simply because I'm not seeing a lot of communication, especially with the 7 of Swords and the moon being at the bottom of the deck. It's looking to me as though there is a karmic female perhaps involved in this situation. When I'm looking at the bottom of the deck, it looks like the masculine. Wow, we have so many reversals here. It looks like the masculine is entangled with someone else at this time. And as I said, if masculine is a feminine presenting, just put it how it fits for you. What's interesting is that situation is becoming a burden, is what this is looking like. And they're feeling incredibly trapped with this 8 of Swords, even coming through at the bottom of the conversation deck with "they're not you." Whereas the feminine has moved into a space of accepting kind of what the situation is, accepting that perhaps the masculine is doing something else and they may not even return. We have "I love you" coming from the feminine for thoughts. So what I'm seeing, and I'm going to speak to the feminine because that's usually who's watching these readings, is that it feels like the feminine is trying to come to terms with kind of the loss of the masculine. Who is that is reversed at the bottom of this deck. And so this is the feminine energy saying this. It's not a surprise, right, that the masculine is with someone else. The feminine is very well aware of the situation that the masculine is in, but there's an energy of now trying to come to terms with that, accept that perhaps this twin flame union will not be a thing in the near future, in this lifetime, on the feminine's end, right? There's kind of this energy of like resignation. I know that I love you, but I also know that I need to move past this in my mind. I need to start wrapping this up so that I can have the next chapter in my life and accept the ending of this connection, right? Or the ending of the potential that was here for union. Now, moving into feelings, we have the feminine coming in with "I still want you," but this is coming out reversed, and it's being clarified by the 4 of Pentacles. So there's an energy of the feminine not being in a space of wanting to be open to the masculine at this time and feeling very protective of their energy, right? If anything, it feels like the feminine wants more to heal and more to move on than to actually try to fix anything with the masculine at this time, simply because it looks like the masculine has not only done so much to the feminine with what I saw at the bottom of the deck. It looks like lies and perhaps ghosting, a lack of consistent attention. Even now with you both, your connection being in the moon and the 7 of Swords, it's like what you see is not what the reality of the situation is, right? You've got feminine over here seeing masculine with a karmic, but the reality is they're not you, feminine, right? This happy family or whatever it is that the masculine has been trying to portray is actually a lie with the 7 of Swords. You have masculine looking at feminine and feeling as though they are moving on with their life, right? That they have all this passion in their life. Because when I'm looking at feelings, you got Knight of Wands for the masculine energy, feeling like the feminine is very attractive and living their best life. But that doesn't seem to be the case either if the feminine is in this 9 of Swords, 4 of Pentacles energy, right? Feeling very wounded and just trying to heal and kind of recoup and recover from the time that was spent on this masculine. So unfortunately, it's like the two of you are seeing what one another is doing, but because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes of that, right? You really have no idea how unhappy this masculine is where they are. And they have no idea the pain that you've gone through and the healing that you've gone through. Because with this Queen of Pentacles here, it looks like you put on a very good face of like, I'm working on me. I still see the value of the lessons that I've learned from the situation. I'm able to pick myself up and dust myself off. And so it's coming off as though perhaps this connection didn't mean as much to you. Even though I can see in your cards that's not the case, right? The masculine is kind of feeling that, like, well, feminine just left me so easily, or how is feminine able to smile in their photos on Facebook or wherever? But in the same breath, masculine has built a whole life with someone else that's clearly a sham, right? When we're looking at these cards. So pretty interesting, because it seems like the both of you are looking at one another and you're going off of what you see, because there's no conversation about what's really happening behind the scenes, right? Now, masculine, like I said, was coming in with Knight of Wands energy for feelings, but I'm sorry I hurt you in the reverse. So there's kind of this like feeling of, I want my feminine back. I wish things could go back to the way that they were. I'd like to take action to fix the situation because I see my feminine moving away from me, but I'm also not in a space of wanting to have the very needed deep conversations about like, what happened? How did I end up with this person over here? What am I willing to do to rectify the situation, right? This is very like kind of one night stand energy, or I feel like I want to be around the feminine until things get difficult or they start talking about like topics that are too serious for me. And then I feel like I want to go do something else, right? Actions at this time, we have feminine with the Fool, and we need to talk reversed. So even though there is a conversation that clearly has not taken place, it looks like at this time, feminine energy is just not interested in doing that. I think that has a lot to do with the cards that I'm seeing here and how much pain it looks like the feminine has had to process alone, whereas masculine is coming in with the Emperor in the reverse energy for the actions, followed by you make me so happy. So that leans back into that Knight of Wands energy that I was talking about, where it's like, I love you while it's good, but as soon as it gets a little bit difficult, I'm not here for the long term, right? I don't really want to establish anything. It almost feels like to me with this Emperor reverse, you make me so happy, the masculine is using the commitment they're in as a buffer to never solidify anything with the feminine. Like, oh, I could be in your space, I could take up your time, I could even sleep in your bed, but I have to go back to my wife. I have to go back to my husband. I can't do this with you forever, right? And so there's this energy of never being permanent in the feminine's life. And that's actually by design. That this Emperor reverse, they don't feel like they're good enough for the feminine, but they see the feminine as being like on a pedestal. And they feel like as long as they can always have a reason to not commit, right? For some of you, a very small group of you, this masculine is actually not in a relationship. This could be like a family obligation. This could be an addiction. This could be something where they always have that reason, or, you know, oh, my past trauma makes it so I can't commit, right? They keep that thing that they can hold on to as like a wall to always put between the two of you, right? That's what I'm seeing with your obstacle being the Nine of Swords in the reverse. This masculine is so afraid that if you were with them full time, you would end up rejecting them, moving on from them, because they are actually a lot of work. And the hard part is they're not willing to do any of the work on themselves. They just want the feminine to put in the work. And that's probably why they're staying with the karmic partner, is what I'm seeing here. The karmic partner will settle for less, right? They'll settle for that Emperor in the reverse energy, where somebody is childish and angry and has these temper tantrums and wants everything their own way, but they're not willing to actually put in the work to make that happen, right? Don't feel bad about this for you feminine who are like, I don't understand why my masculine can make a house or a life with someone that's not me, because they're not giving this person anything more than what they ever gave you. It's very possible they're giving this person even less, because I'm seeing them playing this role where it's like they want everything their way and they want to be treated a certain way, but they're not willing to meet their partner halfway. It's just kind of like, you're supposed to give me all this unconditional love and I'm not going to do anything in return, because that's how it goes, right? And so I think that for you feminine, that's something that you encountered when you were dealing with this connection. And maybe you took it really personal and thought, like, I give all this unconditional love. How is it possible that this person doesn't see what I do? Why don't they mirror that back to me, right? But in reality, this person, it's just like, that's how they operate. They're not in a space of having like any kind of introspection about who they are, what they want, where they're going. Like, we literally have, I'm sorry I hurt you in the reverse. Like, this person wants to be in your life, right? I'm tired of running, but they're not even willing to apologize for what they've done, simply because they don't see what they've done. You know, this is almost somebody that's like, they don't want to talk about anything that happened, and they think if they just show up consistently for 2 weeks in a row, everything's going to be okay, right? If they take a couple of actions consecutively, you should forget about the way they made you feel. You get what I'm saying? Like, they don't see the value in talking about what happened in the past, or they genuinely don't even think that it hurt you, and they don't think they owe you an apology, which goes back to this Emperor in the reverse energy of being like very spoiled, right? You make me so happy. This is all about me. Oh, I hurt your feelings. Get over it. You're being too sensitive, right? Not seeing like the magnitude of the consequences of their actions, or how their actions have affected you. It's like, it doesn't even register. This person, this particular masculine is very like closed. You know, with you feminine, your cards are blue and green. So it's like very heart chakra energy. That's very throat chakra energy, crown chakra, being very like connected and able to speak your truth and feel your emotions. Whereas masculine is lots of red, and a little bit of blue. So this is more like asserting dominance, right? Using the throat chakra combined with the root chakra that looks like it's out of balance to harm people and relationships, right? Not in a physical sense, but more so saying things that are mean, right? Or blunt, or not saying things at all to control the power dynamic of the relationship, you know, icing you out, not replying, that kind of thing, right? So please don't take it personal if you're seeing this masculine with a karmic at this time, because they're literally saying they're not you. And I didn't know how to love you coming out in the reverse. So here's the thing. They knew what they were doing when they were doing it, right? But they were more concerned about their own happiness and their own comfort than providing you with like an equal playing ground by, you know, being a little bit vulnerable or practicing like reciprocity. You get what I'm saying? They knew how they should have been treating you the same way they know how they should treat the other people in their life. They're just simply not interested in doing anything that would make them feel a little bit uncomfortable, because they're in a very immature space in their life, right? I try to smile. I didn't realize what I had. And that's in the reverse. So they knew exactly who you were. They knew exactly, you know, what they had. They just didn't think that they needed to do anything about it. You know what I'm saying? Because this person is so spoiled. They're very used to people going above and beyond for them. Maybe this is an only child. Maybe this is a youngest child. Maybe this is someone who was spoiled by a grandparent. Like there's a real sense of entitlement and immaturity coming from this person. And so I see why you feminine don't feel the need to have a discussion with this, because it's just like, there's no point. I've said everything there is to say. It doesn't hit home with you. Like, it doesn't sink in. It doesn't resonate, right? What's being created between the two of you at this time is the Four of Swords in the reverse. So yes, you may come back into one another's lives in the sense that this masculine could reach out for something very like surface level, right? I miss you. I want to see you. I haven't seen you in forever. You always make me laugh. This is more coming from the space of like what I want. What can you do for me? Not, hey, I know that I really let you down. I want you in my life because you matter. It's more like you serve a purpose. You give me a feeling that I like. And I'm not getting it wherever I am. So I feel like if I come back to you with this problem that I have, right, I'm not happy where I am. I'm not getting my needs met where I am. I'm thinking that you will assume the position of being that person, right? It's not like, oh man, you've been weighing heavy on my mind. I feel really bad about how I treated you. It's like, I'm not happy where I am. I'm not getting what I want. Somebody give something to me. Like, you've always given something to me. So you will do this, right? You will come and you will give something to me because where I'm at is getting pretty dry, right? What the masculine is not realizing is feminine is also in Four of Swords reverse. So yes, this, it's not, it doesn't look like it's a physical meeting. It could just be like a text message, a conversation over chat, phone, whatever you use. But feminine has gotten ready to move on, right? And so it's not like, oh yeah, let's do this again. Like the masculine is thinking like, all I have to do is show up. I don't really have to talk about anything. I just have to like be attentive for a specific period of time to get what I want. Feminine isn't even open to the discussion, right? So if you get that text from the masculine, if they're not blocked, that's why I said if, the feminine is just going to be like, what do you want me to say? Right? I'm sorry, you're heartbroken. That's kind of your karma. That's not my problem, right? There's an energy of the feminine working very hard to build a shield, a wall, perhaps. For you feminine, you've been like calling your energy back, or you do like cord cutting meditations. I don't know. But what I'm seeing is like by the time this takes place, you're already in a space where, if anything, it's like shows you karma is real, or it gives you like some kind of like boost of, wow, now I finally have the upper hand, and now I'm finally in a space where I don't care. It feels really good that this person wants my attention and it doesn't bother me, and I don't feel compelled to figure out what's wrong with them, is what I'm getting. It's not like, oh yeah, let's give this another go round, right? The obstacle between the two of you at this time is the Nine of Wands reversed. You know, you feminine have moved on. Masculine is still holding on to everything, the karmic, the past, not in the sense of like what I did wrong or what I can do better, but the past of like, remember when you loved me and how cool that was and all the stuff you did for me? Like, let's do that again, right? It's like they have this fear of rejection, so they treat everybody badly. So that if they get rejected, it's like, whatever, they didn't matter anyway. I didn't even try. I don't care, right? It's very, very immature. That's like, honestly, your obstacle is just like that you're done fighting for this. Their obstacle is that they have a lot going on, right? They haven't even begun to fight for this. They haven't even picked up the first wand to fight for this. And that's kind of where they're at, is thinking like, well, I could make some action. I could do a little more than I've done in the past. Well, the problem with that is like, we're moving into a whole new era where that's a little bit too little too late, right? This is something going on with them at a very core, like, level, like their personality, their comprehension, their connection to source. Like, it's all skewed. It's all a lot left to be desired, because in the time that you've been doing this really deep healing and shadow work, they've been following their passions and throwing temper tantrums when they're not getting what they want, and really like Emperor reverse is very whiny and manipulative, like but also controlling, and like if you've ever seen the movie The Gladiator, do you remember the Emperor? I don't remember his name. He was played by, I want to say, Heath Ledger. when he was very, very young. No, not Heath Ledger. Joaquin Phoenix is the Emperor in Gladiator. And if you recall, he was like this really whiny, pain in the ass guy who would also like flip to being like super bipolar and angry and vengeful and violent, and then go back to being like really vulnerable and really whiny and the victim. And like, that's what this person, the energy that they're in. Okay. It's not, I need to be proactive. I need to be an adult. I need to step into my divine masculine, right? This is very much like, boo-hoo. Nobody wants to do anything for me. And also I want to fight everybody that doesn't want to do anything for me because I don't like the way that makes me feel. And my feelings are the only thing that matter at this time, right? Your advice for this is the Knight of Swords. So you could listen to whatever this person has to say if you want. Take it all with a grain of salt because, like I said, you're in the Moon and the Seven of Swords. And it's looking very much like anything that you hear or see from this person is not going to be the truth. Also be mindful of sabotaging your progress that you've made. This is in the upright, so I feel like as long as you don't turn this into the reverse where you're like intentionally sabotaging yourself because you're afraid of the Fool energy, you'll be fine. But, you know, just kind of be mindful of like the communication that you're giving, right? How much energy do you want to give to this person? Because this is literally like this a snake in the grass, right? They're not going to come into your life and say, oh, hey, feminine, I just am getting a hold of you because I really miss the way you made me feel. And I'd like to renew my subscription to your unconditional love and attention. But I also am not going to like give you anything back. So what's up with that? Is that cool? Can I come over and we can like start that back up? Right. They would come in more with like, hey, I just miss you. You're so beautiful. You're so handsome. You're so this and that. And a lot of flattery is what I'm seeing. But not anything like real or like substantial. So maybe just like listen to what you're saying or what they're saying. But keep the emotion out of it. Like, this is actually asking you to read between the lines with what they're saying. And if you feel like giving the energy to this situation, you could ask questions, right? Or you could summarize, like when they say, oh, I miss you, you're so beautiful, and you know, I miss being in your space, and da. You can be like, okay, so the takeaway is like, you miss how good I made you feel, is what you're saying. Is that what you're saying? I just want to make sure I'm clear on that. Because like, I feel like you owe me an apology. So if you're calling me and that's what you're saying, I think that's what you're saying, right? Just call them out on it, you know, cut through the fluff or the like, they would try to come in and like, make you feel a lot of passion towards them, right? So if you can stay clear-headed and you can cut through kind of the mirage of this person, you will be okay, all right? I'm going to pull you an oracle card, and then after that, I'm going to take this over to the extended reading. That reading is just going to take a look into the future because I'm curious to know after this communication, which is what I'm seeing happening, how will that person show up, right? Is there any potential for them to do anything different than what the reading is showing that they're doing at this current time? So I'll be pulling cards to look into their thoughts, feelings, and future actions for you, as well as your thoughts, feelings, and future actions about them, and the relationship itself. So you got sexual union. Honor the place in one another where you are one eternal soul, for there you will find true bliss. Now, that is very fitting for what I'm seeing here, because this person would try to kind of bastardize the relationship, like the sexual relationship that the two of you share, and make it into something that's like a one-night stand, a situationship, you know what I'm saying? Whereas like the union that the two of you have is something sacred and it should be honored, right? And with Knight of Swords being your advice, knights are very honorable, right? And so if this person isn't coming towards you in a way that's honorable, and it seems like they're just treating you like you should jump into bed with them when it seems like they have a whole nother person that they're dealing with or going home to, it will be your responsibility to cut that off or to cut them short and honor yourself and the connection, right? Bottom of the deck says you may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there's always a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. So that makes me excited to see the future of this connection in the extended reading. I'm going to put the preview after this so you can watch it if you like. And the link to join me is in the description box below. I will speak to all of you again soon. In the meantime, take very good care of yourselves. Bye. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for the extended love reading for Twin Flames. So as I was shuffling your deck, I was thinking a lot about your Emperor in the reverse on the masculine side that came out in the public reading. And with that being under action, it makes me feel like the person, the masculine in this reading, is going to try to do something to destabilize the feminine, right? Because there's an energy of them feeling like you don't care. And it's almost like they will try to do something to like activate you to chase or follow or care the way they want you to. What's interesting is their action is yet again the Emperor in the reverse for future energy. So we're going to talk about it. Now, starting off the reading for you feminine, you got King of Cups in the reverse for your thoughts. And it's being clarified by I can feel your energy in the reverse. So what I'm picking up on from this card is that in the future, it feels as though enough time has passed. This person may have come and gone another time. But what I'm seeing is that this is kind of a repeating cycle. This is something that with what I'm seeing on their end, at this point, it's like they're almost just kind of messing with you. I was really disappointed when I saw the cards that came out for the masculine, just because a lot of this energy was like so lower vibrational kind of, that I found myself thinking like, what is this person's problem? And then I saw...